I think that most people are using AI like a vending machine. They walk up to it, they'll press a button, and they hope that something useful will fall out. And when it does not work instantly, they start to blame the actual tool. The problem is not usually the tool. It is the way that people are actually using it. Because AI is not really a type of ask a random question and then get a miracle out of the machine. It's more like an actual mirror. It will reflect how clearly you think, how well you communicate, and how well you understand what good actually looks like. And that is why some people are getting ridiculous value from AI and other people are just generating slightly smarter nonsense. So in this video, I want to break down the 9 skills that actually separate people from getting ahead versus the people who are still fiddling around with prompts and hoping for the best. And I'm not talking about becoming some next level technical wizard here. I'm talking about becoming the kind of person that actually makes AI useful in a real business situation. Because once you learn these skills properly, AI will stop being a toy and it will start to become leverage for you. Most people never get good results with AI because they treat it like a shortcut instead of a system. They want speed without structure. They want output without thought. They want great result without giving AI enough to actually work with in the first place. And that is why they stay stuck. They will ask it vague questions, they will get vague answers, and then they decide that AI is overhyped. But the top users are doing something very different. They are treating AI like a thinking partner, a research assistant, a creative partner, a second brain, and sometimes with being a ruthless critic as well. And that is what will make the biggest difference. So instead of saying use AI more, I want to give you the 9 skills that actually make it useful. So because once you've got these, every model that you use, you'll get value from. And that's the point. It's not the tool, it's the skill of how you are using it. Ask better questions, not more questions, better ones. Because AI responds to direction. Your prompt, if it's vague, you'll get a vague response. If it's not clear, you'll not get a clear answer. Input will always equal output when it comes to working with these systems. For example, instead of saying, write me some marketing idea, say, give me 10 different marketing angles for a service-related business, helping consultants save time on AI, make them practical, slightly contradiction, and then also make it that people show that people can understand it as well. So once you've given it, the audience, the person, the tone, and the outcome, that is not just prompting, that is going to be directing. And the people who get really good results with AI are not the ones who are writing the longest prompt. They are ones that are asking the sharpest questions to it. The second skill is taste, and this is the one that matters the most. AI can generate endless different options, 500, 5,000, 5 million. You can process infinite amount of different situations, but it's the taste that decides what is actually good, and that is the job. That's your job. The human job is not to produce endless options. The human job is to recognize what is the right one. So if you want to get better results with AI, you need to make sure that you've got a decent taste library as well. A place where you keep these examples and also making sure that you understand what good looks like to you. So this could be with landing pages, with hooks, with emails, with products, with slides, with content. You need to make sure that you shape what you actually want as part of your taste for the output. And when your taste improves, your AI output will improve as well, because you will direct it on that. Not because the model has changed, but because your judgment did. That's the biggest difference in that situation. The third skill is context. And honestly, like, this is where if people are really lazy with it, they will drop 2 sentences in and basically expect the model to understand everything about their business, their audience, their goals, and what they're trying to achieve. Right? It's not going to work like that. It's never going to happen. If you want to get better results, they need to give AI room to understand the world that you are actually operating in. So that means who you are, what you sell, who you're speaking to, what the problem is, what the goal is, what tone that you want, what good looks like, and what it also needs to avoid. And the more relevant detail that you provide, the more useful the answer will actually become. And I see this all the time with business owners. They will think saving time means giving less information, but usually they're just forcing themselves to rewrite the answers later. Give the context up front, and the model can do much of the heavy lifting for you. And that is how AI becomes genuinely useful in a business situation, because it has context, the same as a person would need context as well. And my favorite skill, right, is using AI as a critic, because most people will only ask them to basically get it to help them, right? And that's in easy mode. The real value is when you get the AI system to challenge you. So for example, what am I missing here, right? What is weak about this plan? Where could this fail? What assumptions am I making? What could go wrong? How would you break this idea down? That is where AI becomes genuinely powerful, because a good critic does not just say, nice idea, well done. A good critic will hit you with your blind spots, right? And if you're running a business, blind spots are so expensive, as you know. They'll cost money, they'll waste time, they'll create bad decisions, they will make you overconfident, and then you'll basically think that you're much better than what you actually are. So use AI to stress test all of your thinking and put judgment in place. The fifth skill is compression. This is the skill that people completely ignore most of the time, because AI can take in so much information, but it does not mean that it will always keep it and remember it. And if you want to not have chaos and also have organization, then one of the most important things that you can do is compress it into something usable. So that might be a huge transcript or a long meeting note or a pile of research or a full client call or a full piece of IP on your business. And then all you need to do with AI is ask it to compress it into key points and give it easy context that it can read and use. And it's an insanely useful skill because it means that the AI is not going to just help you create, but it's going to also help you remove the actual noise that you are using and also the system is using as well. And again, in business, this is so important because it'll catch up on you fast having too much to go through. And the next skill is organization, right? And I mean building something which is a proper home for all the knowledge that you are using. And this is where people level up properly. So instead of having loads of random chats everywhere, build projects, build co-work spaces, save your prompts, save your IP, make sure things are connected with MCPs, because if your AI knowledge is a mess, then your outputs are going to be a mess as well. So think of it like a kitchen. You will not have all of your ingredients all over the kitchen side. You need to have them stored in different places to be able to use them at the right times. And that is basically where AI is so powerful. And once you've built out a proper workspace that is organized, and you've got a decent knowledge base as well, you're not starting from zero every single time, but you're also not having to try and reorganize where you need to find this information as well. The seventh skill from there is voice. So not in voice in terms of speech, but in terms of how you communicate, right? How you communicate with AI is the single most important element that you can use, which is why I'm heavily focused on always teaching my community and clients to use Whisperflow. So learning how to describe something with tone, pace, intensity, simplicity, and structure. You need to know the difference between short and aggressive and then clear and calm and also premium and descriptive and also quite minimalistic as well, right? Because AI is just going to use whatever that you give to it. And that is where you can be heavily creative and descriptive and get really hyper-specific outputs for what you actually want rather than just general iterations like a lot of people do. And the eighth skill probably is that it's iterations, because this is where a lot of people go wrong with AI. They will get the first output and they'll judge it based on that. You can't do that. That's not how a human being would work. So if you want something excellent, then you need to refine it, right? That means giving specific feedback, not just make this better, make this useful. Instead of opening with a sharper hook, make the second paragraph more direct, cut to the fluff, make it sound less corporate, give me a stronger ending, make it feel more premium, right? And that is how you start to push the actual model. You're not just asking for a result, you're asking for a more shaped result, basically. And the best AI users here, they're not passive, they are editors. They are reading and editing and iterating. That is a process. And that is a proper skill. And the last skill is probably the most important one. And that is basically using AI to sharpen your own thinking, not replace it. Because AI can help you think faster, but it should not think for you. That is a trap. If you let it do all of the thinking, you will become lazy. If you use it to challenge, refine, organize, pressure test your thinking, you will become a hell of a lot stronger. And that is where the real opportunity is. The best users here are not handing over their basically judgment, they are using it to improve it. They will use AI to clarify ideas, they will stress test everything, they will spot blind spots, they will structure plans, and they will start operating from a place of 1%, which would have been impossible before. So if you want to stop using AI like 99% of people, focus on these. Asking it sharper questions, building a proper taste library, giving a better context, using AI as a critic, compress messy information, organize your knowledge, improve your communication, iterate like an editor, and then use AI to sharpen your thinking, never replace it. Do those 9 things and AI will stop being a gimmick. It will start becoming a leverage to you. And honestly, this is where one of the biggest opportunities actually lie. Because what I say to my clients is if you can read, copy and paste, edit, iterate, and follow simple direction, I can show you how to set these systems up at a level that will completely change your life and change your business. And if you want to find out more about how we can help you with that, hit the link in my description.